Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the channel. As always, thanks for stopping by and hanging out for a few. My name is Rich, I'm the channel host, and 9 times out of 10 here, we're talking about drones and building your small drone business. Today, I thought I'd do something a little different. We've been doing a lot of tutorials and flight locations, but I thought we should talk about the top 5 apps that I use regularly in my drone work. So there are a lot of apps out there. There are flight apps and weather apps and Lance apps, and it kind of gets overwhelming at a point. There's just so many different things to choose from. So I wanted to tell you about the top 5 items that we use here at Arizona Drone. And this is in no particular order. So I'm not ranking these as, which one's the best, which one's the worst in my top 5. They're all in my top 5. So right now we've got our iPad pulled up on screen. So we're looking at it mirroring here. And we've got several apps. We see Ground Station Pro, DJI Go 4, Litchi, Drone Harmony, Map Pilot Pro, and then a bunch of other things as well. So let's start off with one of my all-time favorites that's probably everybody else's all-time favorite as well, and that would be the Litchi app. So the Litchi app offers a lot of autonomous drone flight tools. And it was one of the first tools that I ever got when I started into my own drone work. I knew I was interested in autonomous flight. I knew I was interested in mapping and modeling. And I knew that I was interested in creating reusable flight plans for the type of work that I'm doing. Now, Litchi is not designed for doing 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional models. They don't have any kind of grid setup or anything. But where they're lacking in that, they make up for it in lots of other tools. So right now, this interface might look familiar to you. It kind of looks like the DJI Go 4 app, which is another one of my top 5 that we'll be talking about shortly. So we have a lot of options that the Go 4 app doesn't. We can do first-person view, which is going to feel just like using the Go 4 app. And I'll just change this to our map here. So if we had the drone connected right now, that black screen would actually be showing the drone feed. In addition to first-person view, we have waypoint missions. This is something I use regularly, actually at least once a week, but more often than that. So in the waypoint mission, we can set up pre-programmed flight routes for doing video flights, still photo flights, and we can get really fine control over how the flights occur through making our own waypoint missions. On the left-hand side, I'm just going to tap the open folder here. As you can see here, we have a lot of missions in Litchi. So we've actually added all these different missions in Litchi. Let's just pick one very complicated and unique flight path. This is from one of our construction locations. So we actually have the drone performing a lot of tasks. It's flying around each of these waypoints. It's moving the gimbal. It's changing the direction of the drone. All these things are possible. And you can do your planning on your Litchi app on your iPhone or on a tablet. But we can also do Litchi setups. Let's pull this up and let's go to the web really quickly. We can also do this on the Litchi Mission Hub. So once you get a hold of Litchi and you sign up with Litchi, you have access to their online web builder as well. So you can check out your missions and you can also plan missions. So if we go down to missions here, I'm just going to go up to open and let's pick the same one that we just did on the Litchi app that's on my iPad. Look familiar? It probably does, and it should. So you can actually set up your waypoint missions in your office and get everything prepped before you go out to the job site. So you can set up pre-programmed flight paths for video, for still photography, for time-lapse still photography. And this is an incredibly powerful tool if you're doing drone construction reporting, which is a lot of our business. So we do repeatable flight paths over and over again. And most of the apps that we're talking about here today are favorites because they can generate these repeatable flights for us. I'm going to minimize that really quickly. So not number 1 on our list, just one of the top 5 here, Litchi. All right, let's go ahead and close Litchi out. Let's go back to our drones tab. And what are we going to take a look at next? Well, we're not going to see too much here, but I'm going to go ahead and tap on Drone Harmony. Drone Harmony now has a beta version for the iOS system. So Drone Harmony has always been an Android application, and recently they're starting with development for iOS. So what we've got pulled up here on the iPad right now is that beta version from Drone Harmony. So you don't see a lot of tools on here at the moment. You don't see a lot of setup and building tools, but those are coming. But if we look down in the lower right-hand side, we've got missions and more. So I'm just going to tap mission. So I had created a mission, not on the iPad. I'd actually created it on their website as well, which we'll take a look at in a minute. But I'm going to tap on Sky Ranch, top down here. Let's actually get one loaded. So let's go to Sky Ranch. And we can see that I've already prepped a grid flight for documenting an orthomosaic and 3D model with this. So over time, we'll see this one develop. Right now with the iOS version, we can't create new plans, but we can execute plans. But we don't necessarily need to have the app do this for us, because we're going to pull up a web browser again here. And here is Drone Harmony's web version. So I can actually get online and do my flight planning, and that flight planning will then synchronize with my Android or with my iPad. So we also have an Android, and the Android tablet, you can actually do your flight planning there as well, or you can do your flight planning here on the interactive website. So as you can see, we've got a couple of different locations that we're doing different flights in. And if I zoom into one of them, we can actually see the flight area. And that flight area is Sky Ranch, just like we were looking at on the iPad here. So let's just take a look really quick. Do these two items look familiar? Well, they should, because they're the same exact model setup for flight. So today we can use the iPad version to execute the flights, just not to plan the flights. But keep your eyes open, because they are going to get to the point where you can do flight execution from iOS as well as Android. So this is also one of my top 5. And I like utilizing this one for larger areas. If we're documenting 20, 40, 60 acres, Drone Harmony is very useful in the setup and flight. By the way, just taking a look at the Drone Harmony website before we move on to the next one, as you'll see over here on the left-hand side, we've got a lot of tools. So we can create a polygon area. We can, select where we want to have our flight areas. Over on the right-hand side, we can take a look at all of our sites. So we've got several different sites, including Sky Ranch, which is what we see up here. We can also take a look at our flights, terrains, because you can do terrain-aware flight with this. So Drone Harmony is an incredibly robust application, and you can do some highly customized flights. So it's not just your standard grid patterns. You can also do perimeter missions. You can do facade missions. You can do terrain-aware missions. So this one has bundled a lot in. Oh, and not to mention, you can also do waypoint paths, similar to some of the waypoint paths that you can do in Litchi. So Drone Harmony is quickly becoming a powerhouse in my mind, because they're including so many features that some of the other apps out there don't include. So if you're looking for a new flight app and you're an Android user already, Drone Harmony is going to be a great solution for you. And as they move out of the beta phase with iOS, Drone Harmony is going to be a great solution on iOS as well. All right, let's take a look at what's next on our list here. So there we are. We are back into the iPad screen. So far we have covered Drone Harmony and Litchi. So who is up next? Well, Map Pilot Pro is up next. Since we focus a lot on doing 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional modeling for documenting construction sites, showing progress on the sites, doing progression videos, doing progression stills, all of these things feature into our business. And Map Pilot Pro is another great 2D and 3D modeling application. So we can go into our mission plans with Map Pilot Pro. And as you will see, we've got several missions in here. We do clear out missions on a regular basis. But these are all active and ongoing missions that we've set up at different points in time, but have also reused those missions since. When you load up a new mission on Map Pilot Pro, you can also sync the mission. So right up here in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the word sync. And that means that I can synchronize my missions across devices. So I can put them on this iPad, I can put them on my iPhone, I can put them on my iPad mini, and I can execute from any of these. Now, the tools given to us here with Map Pilot Pro are pretty amazing here. I'm going to tap one of these open. This is the flight I actually did yesterday. So we went out to a client location because they've broken ground and now they're starting to get ready to pour concrete on this new build site. So this is going to be a single family residential, and we're going to be documenting that over time. So for this particular flight, we used Map Pilot Pro, and we executed the flight in the field with Map Pilot Pro. It gives us a lot of customization, a lot of tools to use. So we can do normal missions. We can set our altitude, have Active Connect set up. We can also rotate the map area. We can also select our overlap on this one. We did this one at 90 and 90. So that's a lot of overlap. The speed was automatically set for us by Map Pilot Pro at 4.7 miles per hour. And over on the left-hand side, we can learn a lot about the property we're going to be flying. So the area that we're covering is 1 acre. The distance in our flight is about a half a mile of flight time. And our path speed is only 4.7 miles per hour, but we know that we're not going to get any motion blur. And so we should have really great data coming in. This is going to create 116 images approximately, and it's got 231 waypoints in it. So this has been a very powerful one as well. We've used this on multiple client projects over the years. Now, they also have a website, but the website is not for planning or execution or anything. When we go over to Maps Made Easy, we can actually upload maps to Maps Made Easy and have them processed for us for a nominal fee, of course. So when you're setting up new maps with them, you can use them for cloud hosting and for cloud rendering. So if you don't want to run out and buy one of the higher end packages that can set you back several $1,000s, and you don't want to do something like WebODM, which is an open source drone mapping solution, Maps Made Easy does have a very good solution for you as well. So we have used it in our testing and our tutorials, but mostly we do not upload our images to Maps Made Easy. We actually utilize Metashape, and we use WebODM as well. All right, so Map Pilot Pro, also in our top 5 apps. Now we're getting into some of the interesting stuff because the next app is not a flight-oriented app. Well, it's not an app that'll help us do our flights. It is a loft. So oftentimes we are in and around controlled airspace. We need to do work at client locations that are closer to KPRC, which is our little regional airport here. And as you can see, I am zooming out right now on a loft. Oh, by the way, I should probably minimize this. So there you go. Now you can see it. My apologies, everybody. Anyways, when we get into a loft here, we can see the areas that we're going to be flying in. And we can also get notifications because right to the south of that blue circle that's encircling KPRC and Class D airspace, right below that, we've had an ongoing fire for over 2 weeks here in the Prescott area. So we've had temporary flight restrictions. And let's just go to our map really quick. I'm just going to tap on this. I'm going to actually, oh, I didn't mean to get their flight traffic there. I actually wanted to get into the map here. There we go. Airspace. My apologies for that. So we know where my location is, and here is controlled airspace for KPRC. And right to the south of that, let's pretend that we were thinking about setting up something over in here. I get a notification down on the lower left-hand side here with a caution symbol and 1, and it says that we have firefighting ends in 3 weeks because this fire has been ongoing for so long, and we've had some very, very windy days here. So we can actually submit for our Lance permission in controlled airspace, and we've even utilized a loft for doing flights in 0 AGL and gotten our permissions through that as well. So I have found that Aloft is a very powerful tool, and it's a great way to access lands as well. So not only do we have a prepare for flight, we have our airspace authorization, we have our forecast information here, live traffic as well. So if we pulled up the live traffic, we could see what flights are going on around us. We're online right now. And we also have some of the basics. What's our cloud cover today? And at 6,960 feet above ground level from here. We do have high variance winds today, so the winds have really picked up, which has not been helping the firefighting efforts in any shape or form. But so there we go. We have Aloft on my iPad. We can also go to the Aloft website, like the other things that we were showing you. So they do have a website for Aloft, and you can actually set up your login and then do your management and requests as well. All right, let's minimize this. And the last thing that we're going to do here is we're actually going to close this one up. And so the last one that I have to, actually, it's not the last one. We're going to give a sixth one as well. But the one other item that we should take note of is the DJI Go 4 app. Now, you might have something different than that, depending on the type of drone that you have from DJI. We're running Mavic 2 Pros here. We've also run a Phantom 4 Pro version 2, and don't have that one in the inventory right now. We've been testing it out. But the DJI Go 4 app is the basic flight app from DJI. And once again, when we looked at Litchi before, it kind of looks similar. Litchi really took a page from the DJI Go 4 app. And so when we're doing initial setups, I do like to go into the DJI Go 4 app to make sure that there's no magnetic interference, or if I have to calibrate the compass, or if there are firmware notifications. All of those things come through the DJI Go 4 app. I really don't normally use it for flight at this point. If I'm doing regular first-person view flight, it's the Litchi app for me. So, and I jump right back to that. So I'm pulling Litchi app up again, and I've included the Go 4 app because it's something I use regularly. It's not my preferred, it's not a preferred app, but it's an app that's necessary to make sure that we've got the latest firmware and any other issues. But once when I sit down and I say, okay, I want to fly now, I go over to Litchi if we're not doing grid patterns. And it's because of all the extra tools that they've always provided. So the first person view, the waypoint view, like you saw, the follow view, so tracking, the orbits, so you can actually save orbits as well. So not only can you save waypoint missions, you can save orbits, and you can use those orbits to fill in your 2D and 3D models. Maybe you didn't get the facade so good on Map Pilot Pro or on Drone Harmony. Hey, how about setting up a quick orbit around the building that we're working on, gathering a little extra information and putting that together? They also offer a pano mode, so we can do 360-degree panos on this. We can also set a focus, and as you can see, we've got another track as well. So when we talk about the DJI Go 4 app, the DJI Go 4 app is basically more administrative for me than something that we're using. All right, so let's see here. We have covered Litchi, Drone Harmony, the Go 4 app, Map Pilot Pro, and Aloft. So we have gotten our 5, but I do want to show one more that had been in regular usage for us. We are transitioning, but that would be Ground Station Pro. So this was another one, and it's one of the first that I started learning on back in 2017. It was free, and it was an not only iOS only device, it was an iPad only device. So I actually went out in 2017 on Black Friday and went to Best Buy and actually purchased an iPad mini just so I could run Ground Station Pro. And Ground Station Pro has been around for us with a lot of our flights, a lot of different locations that we've done, and mostly raw land locations. So like Drone Harmony, Ground Station Pro we used for larger mapping and modeling areas. They seem to do a better job on the bigger areas than some of the other apps that I've used. So I had some issues with Map Pilot Pro with larger job sites, but we're going to be retesting that again really soon. So I have been a big fan of Ground Station Pro since 2017, And recently, with the latest update of Ground Station Pro, there hadn't been updates for quite a while. But with the latest updates of Ground Station Pro, we have been notified that the end of life for Ground Station Pro is upon us. So the latest update is the last update, and DJI will be letting us know if they're going to be doing anything else. But what it's looking like to me is that in the very near future, we're probably going to lose Ground Station Pro. But that's okay. I would suggest that if you have been using Ground Station Pro as well, and you've enjoyed being able to synchronize all of your missions across your devices and share the missions as well, and also upload KML files, um, then I would take a hard look at Drone Harmony as the replacement for Ground Station Pro. And like I said, the iOS version for Drone Harmony is on its way, and it's already under development. So I would keep an eye on that if you too were a big fan of Ground Station Pro, and knowing that Ground Station Pro is going away, we need a comparable tool. And actually, honestly, Drone Harmony does offer a couple more features and a couple of more flight patterns that Ground Station Pro never offered ever. So there we go. There we have it. In our drone folder, Ground Station Pro is our extra add-on for the top 5 to top 6. DJI Go 4, Litchi, Drone Harmony, Map Pilot, and Aloft. So there we go. There is our top 5. These are the items that we use very regularly here at AZ Drone. And I'm just switching the screen here really quick. And so that's going to be minimizing up there for you. But those are the items that we use so often. When we go out into the field, we actually go out with an iPad and an Android with us as well, and my personal iPhone, and then we have an iPhone for drone operations as well. So we have several devices, and all of these devices are synced up if they can be, well, except for Ground Station Pro because it's iPad only. But we have Litchi on all of our devices. We have Map Pilot Pro on all of our devices. We have the DJI Go 4 app on all of our devices. You get the idea. I'm going to say all of our devices over and over again here. But everything that we always have redundancy. We always bring 2 drones out with us, additional batteries, and we always bring our controllers. And then finally, the smartphones or the tablets that we're going to use to work in part with the controllers. Just so you know, a couple of other things, we've used Pix4D Capture, we've used Drone Deploys Flight. We are now testing out Measure Ground Control as well. Since we learned that Ground Station Pro is going away, it was my opinion that, you know what, we should probably test out some of the newer ones as well. So over the next couple of weeks, keep your eyes open here on channel. Good reason to subscribe and like down below, because we're going to be testing out Measure Ground Control, and we're going to be testing out Drone Link to see if they fit in our business as well. All right, everybody, I hope you found this one interesting and informative. If you haven't checked out some of these apps, please do. And I can say for the hobbyists and the people who are out there flying for fun, just for enjoyment and, getting out there with your drones, Litchi. Go ahead and get Litchi. If there's only one app you can get for your drone flight, go ahead and get Litchi, because you can utilize it for more construction progression work. You're not going to be doing maps and models with it, but you can do repeatable videos, repeatable stills, the orbit missions. There's so much power and flexibility in the Litchi app. So it's a fantastic application, even for those for fun things. And, it helps you make even more cinematic video, because you can set flight speeds. You can actually set how the gimbal turns, how quickly things are moving around, which means when you come back from the field and you've done a flight mission, let's say a video flight mission that you wanted to have a very cinematic feel, if you did some pre-setups in the waypoint missions, you're going to wow yourself, and it doesn't take long to learn how to do those types of pre-flights. And if you'd like to learn more about Litchi or Map Pilot Pro, you can always go by classes.azdrone.net, and we do have courses up on several of these applications as well to help you get going with your drone construction business, because that's our primary focus. All right, everyone, we'll see you again real soon. Have a great rest of the week. Hope you have some fun flights as well.